Welcome to another resource by The Wandering Pro under the wing of SKNexus. Enough branding, let's get started. So basically, this resource will be an agency starter kit and a video, this video, to get you on the pathway of starting your own software development agency or any services agency in the digital and IT space, right? The goal here is I'm going to walk you through a very basic workflow, which you can adopt starting today as a freelancer who has found some success with freelancing, and then use the templates and the kits I provide, which I'm going to walk through as well, and use it to gain an advantage. This is totally available for free, and I'm on a mission to help people upskill their careers and their businesses, and this is just one step in that way. So before I start, just one thing. All of these resources are easily available if you go to the SKNexus website. And under the Wandering Pro, you go to Tools and Resources, and you can view everything I've done so far in recent history. Again, different tools for career, business, upskilling, so on and so forth. Okay, now let's get into today's resource. So this is a basic workflow, which basically any services business uses, but we're going to focus on software development a bit. And then you can, change it in for marketing or design or branding, so on and so forth. And what do you typically have in any services businesses? You have the prospecting phase where you're getting your leads from one of the platforms or direct, whatever it is. You do a prospecting call, you send out an initial questionnaire to gather client requirements, you do an onboarding, you prepare contracts, proposals, project requirement documents, so on and so forth. You kick off the project, then you do design if it is part of the project. You skip if it is development only. You do deliverables, you do the delivery, close the contract, and move to a support contract, right? That's typically a very basic workflow that any software development agency has. And you can see it on this image. This will be in the kit as well. Alongside this, you will get access to more than 15 templates I have prepared over here. And I'm going to quickly walk through them right now and give you an overview of everything. So first step, as I said, is you send questionnaires. So I have a few examples here. And the goal is depending on what kind of agency you want to open up or what your core focus is, you can mix and match and edit these templates to fit your needs. That's why I'm trying to provide as many options as possible. So these are a few questionnaire templates. And as you can see, you send this to the clients before they're onboarded to gather their requirements. This one is a more general web app questionnaire. You can send it. Do notice this stuff in red. So if it's a web app, send these questions. If it is a website, then send this question, so on and so forth. Should be pretty straightforward to use. Then we have another questionnaire, same thing, but this is more towards website focus. So if you're just doing websites like WordPress sites or Webflow sites or Shopify, Squarespace sites, you can send a questionnaire like this. And same thing, there's a bit more focus on branding in this one compared to the other template. Then obviously every website sometimes requires content. Usually clients will be like, I'll do my own content, but they never do. So if you provide copy services, or my advice would be that you get this questionnaire filled and then go out and find a copywriter and, make the difference. That's what agencies do. They get work and then they outsource work, right? There's a content discovery question you can send. Same thing with branding discovery question. Let me give a disclaimer here. Branding and content are huge fields. So don't think like this questionnaire makes you an expert copywriter or a branding expert. As I said, this is just to get you started, to be like a jack of all trade agencies, take your first baby steps. And one day you can obviously specialize in any of these things, in website, web apps, content, and branding, whatever, mixes with your flow. Moving on, we have some proposal templates. So this is a field example. This is a retainer and a discovery example. You can see how I've laid it out. And you can see the scope limitations. You can see how the pricing breakdown works, assumptions, and then some additional upsell things you should always mention in your proposal. You never know, the client needs some extra services. There's another proposal template. This one is more catered for work on Upwork or freelancing platforms usually. And same thing, scope of work. If it's an hourly project, if it is a fixed milestone project, you can use this. This is not my resource. I think this is the only one that is not my resource. This one was made by someone called freelancemvp.com. Not sure where they are right now, but this is again available on the internet for free. I just put this one from him, but all the other ones are my personal resources. Then we have, a general dev design proposal template. This is like after you have the first call, the questionnaire is filled out, you want to send out like, hey, this is the scope of work, this is the tech stack, these are the risk and assumptions, or, rough cost and budget and stuff like that. This is like an easy to understand template and breakdown. And this is again a filled example if you want to see. It's taking some time to load, but yeah, you can go through this example and see how it is filled out. Lastly, there is an option here for marketing also. As I said, the focus is software development agencies, but sometimes I've seen marketing design. There's a lot of overlap in deliverables, right? So marketing proposal can sometimes have website development. This is that example where basically you do like a basic website and then you do some SEO work on top of it. So there's like a SEO plan and general notes. Again, just to start out, not to be an SEO expert or anything. Then we have some contract template. So contract is really important. Once the client is locked in, they agree to everything, you must send them a contract, especially if it is a client that is random, you don't know them, you can't take their word, always sign a contract. So this is a really standard content that you can send. This is the section you need to heavily update depending on what the work is. Then over here, everything is pretty standard. That should be in a, that should keep you safe in most cases. And then there's the scope of work and the price and stuff like that, right? If you have issues with any of these templates and you're confused about like, okay, how do I fill this or how do I fill that? You can always leave a comment below this video or email me at admin@sknxs.com and I can reply to you. The goal here is like they're pretty straightforward and I think anyone can use them, but you never know, right? So if you're confused or need help, do let me know. Then after the contract is set, you need to send out an invoice. So this is an invoicing template you can use. It is based in Excel. So it's easy to create multiple invoices, duplicate the sheet, edit your details, so on and so forth. You can add your address, you can add your website, you can add your invoice number, all the details, all the deliverables, the cost and everything. Similarly, we also have a quote template over here. If someone is like, hey, I need a quote before I can get an invoice, because some companies will have an approval process where they will do an RFQ, request for quote. You send them the quote and then they approve it and then you send them the invoice. So there's just minor language differences. So like in the quote, you have quote reference instead of invoice, and PO number, purchase order, and RFQ number. So there's just some minor language differences. Moving on, once the project starts, we need some trackers. So this is a design feedback tracker and this is a dev feedback tracker. The only difference between design and dev is in design, we usually just have like, the URL, doc link or screenshot link. We have the client feedback. We have checkboxes over here. And then we have our comments, right? So there should be noted over here that this thing, insert round number. This is like you should always do 3 rounds of design. Don't do unlimited revisions. That is never good. So do 3 rounds of design feedback, maintain the sheet as needed, and deliver on it. Same thing with dev thing. In the dev one, we have categories. So whenever you do a dev deliverable, you should do at the base level as feedback. You should cater it either as a bug, correction, enhancement, change request, or a future planned feature. This will help you by the way that, let's say you're doing work for a client and they're asking for too many changes. If those are small changes, you can log them as enhancement. And then down the road, you could be like, hey, listen, we did like 20 enhancements for you for free. Any future changes, we will require, a payment or something like that. That is why you should always categorize your feedback. So you have a track record of what kind of feedback you're working. If it's bugs mostly, yeah, then you have to solve it because bugs are always on you. But, corrections and all this small stuff, you can do it for free for a while, but then you have to charge for them. I've defined each of these, what they mean over here. And again, if you need further help, you can always leave a comment on the video. Lastly, we have an internal bug tracker. So if you have a QA person on the team, or if you do QA yourself, you can use this tracker to basically log all the bugs before delivering any deliverable to the client, right? Pretty straightforward. You have issue types, platform OS, so on and so forth. This will help the developers a lot. Especially these things are really important, like the browser environment OS, because it helps nail down the issue if it is happening on a specific device or platform. Then we have a task tracker. So task tracker is basically, think of it like a mini project management tool. So especially when you're a new freelancer and you start an agency, you can't afford those fancy PM tools, right? Monday.com, Asana, Basecamp, so on and so forth. So to get started for free, you can use this template, which will basically help you with your project management needs or task management needs. You can duplicate the sheet for each project and then, use the columns as required. Moving on. This is one thing you should always do in a software development agency. Once a project is over, always upsell a support plan or a maintenance plan. Because most of the times, the clients you're going to deliver stuff to, they will require maintenance. So this is just an example of a WordPress support plan. You can have a similar one for Shopify or Squarespace, so on and so forth. Just duplicate this document and edit the language as needed. And always pitch a support plan. It's a really good way to have recurring revenue for your agency. And that's what most successful agencies have going for them. They'll always have recurring revenue. Even if they're not getting new projects, they'll have support plans going on. And this is a support contract. If the client decides to go with it, you can fill it out and send it and amend it to the contract you previously sent them and get paid based on a monthly thing. Okay. Lastly, really important is signing off the project or the product, right? So once the project is over, the product is over, engagement is over, you do need to get a sign off. It is really important. It closes down everything. It is a really good customer experience also because they feel like they're taken care of. You've given them everything, given them access to everything, all the links, all the domains and all that. A lot of agencies have bad reputation in the market. And it's usually because they don't do this. They abuse client relationships. They don't give access to the clients properly once the project is done. And then the clients get burnt up and, freelancers and agencies get a bad name. So yeah, have a project sign-off document once the project is completed. Have some FAQs there. It's a really good client satisfaction experience. And lastly, we have the CRM. So the bread and butter for your agency. As leads are coming in, as you're talking to clients, it's always good practice to track everything. So down the road, if you have all the email addresses, you have an email list, you can approach them if you have some new service or offer. And this is just good practice. Every business should have a CRM. And again, this sheet is a free and easy way to get started with the CRM without having to buy expensive solutions like, not Salesforce, but let's say HubSpot, right? Not feasible for new freelancers and agencies. So in conclusion, basically, this kit is going to have everything for you to start an agency. And then if you require, like, okay, I have all the templates, but I don't know how to run an agency, what are the processes and so on and so forth. At the start of this article, you will see I have linked 2 other resources that I've done recently or previously. And I've gone into a detailed analysis of what are the SOPs for a software development agencies at every level. So if you want a video on this, let me know. Maybe we can have it down the road. But for intensive purposes of this video, I think everything gets covered. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any other questions in the comments below or email me at sknexus@sknexus.com. And yeah, I guess subscribe for new updates. Thank you.